think the Thebe Group, when it was started, I think one has to go back to what was going on in the country in South Africa at that time. You'll probably recall that 1992 was a time of great tension. I think Nelson Mandela had just been released, I think, a year before. And there was a whole lot of negotiations around the new democratically elected government of the day. And during that time, I think some of the leaders, which included Nelson Mandela himself and a few other luminaries at the time, came together to actually form this company with a view to starting a business that will have its, call it essence, rooted in the community and supporting the work of the community. And to this day, I think 25 years later, Thebe is still majority owned by a community trust.
So the tourism group as a whole has done exceptionally well. And you've won many awards, global awards through the years, testament to your strategy and your vision. How has that evolved through the years?
So over the years, I think we've invested in a number of areas in sort of your travel spaces where we've got a travel agency, we've got a tour operator, we've got a car rental business. And a great part of our strategy is now moving into the attraction space where we want to manage and develop iconic attractions. We do believe that that's an area of significant growth going forward, and that's what's going to drive economic growth in this country.
How much money do you want to spend on that?
We speak in excess of about $300 million to get some of those routes sorted out and really got into a world-class space. When we start talking about what we can do in an area in the Western Cape, again, you're talking hundreds of millions of US dollars. But these are projects that we see not as just an 18 months initiative, but these are kind of a 10-year vision that we want to actually see unfolding over that period of time.
There's a phrase that you've coined, Afropolitan tourism. What does that mean?
The Afropolitan tourism is about a market that, again, has been neglected in South Africa for the longest time. People such as myself, who grew up in the apartheid era, but managed to kind of somehow break through that, call it the glass ceiling or whatever it is, managed to go to school, managed to get a degree, managed to get some tertiary education, might have had the privilege of holding an executive job, but we never were targeted for certain types of products because we were always seen as we can't afford those. So a lot of us are finding our way through this particular maze. We kind of say that the townships are poor places and it's poor people who live there. There are people who do relatively well and needs to be communicated to, and those are the markets that we're beginning to see, and we're talking to those markets.
A lot of the gripe is that it's a lot more expensive some of the time to travel in South Africa than to travel outside of South Africa. So the people that do have a little bit of extra cash tend to look at, say, okay, where can I go and have a fantastic experience outside of the country? So how are you going to tailor-make packages so that you speak to each one of those groups that have such different needs?
These particular groups, mostly, they like to travel in groups. And the way we sell our packages, most of them we sell as per person per night. That's the standard sort of way that we sell packages. So we're now beginning to say, even if you're selling it per person per night, but you're then kind of giving it a group package, and people can actually come in groups because there's safety in numbers. So in those sort of environments, you're finding that people are willing to try new things, explore new things. So we're trying to bring in right from the bottom, getting the lower end products coming in, and then building on top of those over time.
If I had to ask you, what would the Thebe Tourism Group look like in the next 10 years? What would you say? Where do you want this company to go?
I'll talk on two areas. The first one is the people. I would want us to have some of the best hospitality practitioners in the world. In our iconic strategy, we're building a number of hotels. We'd want those particular hotels to be globally recognized brands. The second part of it is that we would want to be seen as the managers of the world's best iconic destinations. If we can get to that, that would be a great achievement for us.